Hey guys, it's Amber from Notable Ink. Today I'm sharing Slimline versus A2 cards using 6x6 and 12x12 paper packs, as well as layer stamping and coloring using the Celebrate release, which is a collaboration between Altenew and Pinkfresh. Let's get started. I'll do a quick run through of the products. This is the Celebrate Today stamp and die set. This is a perfect stamp set for coloring with your favorite coloring medium, whether that's watercolor or markers. This is the Celebrate Us stamp and die set. This also includes a sentiment die as well as a shadow. This is a layering stamp set. However, you can also color this with the outline layer as well. There's a 6x6 paper pack and also a 12x12 paper pack, and I'll show you how to use both of those today. The patterns are the same from the 6x6 to the 12x12. The 6x6 paper pack has one design on each page, with the back of the page being white, whereas the 12x12 paper pack is double-sided. If you want to get to the creating right away, go ahead and fast forward to 2 minutes 31 seconds. So you can see there's lots of papers that are perfect for backgrounds, also some florals, which you can use directly as a card front, which I'm going to do in a couple of the cases, or these would be fabulous background panels. You can also cut them up and use elements. I'm loving these super large florals. So I really love large floral stamp sets. So the 12x12 paper pack really appealed to me. And because I didn't get into card making from scrapbooking like many people do, it never really occurred to me to buy 12x12 paper packs for card making. It seemed in most cases like the images would be too large for that, but I'll show you how I'm going to use them in the card making today. This is the Ephemera Pack, which includes 37 pieces. And again, because I'm not a scrapbooker, it's not something I normally purchase, but these are so fun. Again, perfect for just making quick cards or obviously your scrapbooking. I love these little frames and note cards. There's some great sentiments that I'll use on the cards today and beautiful floral elements. I love the color palette that Altenew and Pinkfresh chose for the Celebrate line. And I'll be incorporating some of those colors into the layer stamped card and the colored card that we do today. Okay, so here I have two of the same designs, one in the 12x12, one in the 6x6, and I have an A2 rectangle die here. So that's 4¼ by 5½, which is a standard A2 size card. And I just wanted to show you how you could create a card with both of these pieces. So this would create a beautiful A2 size card, but what I ultimately decided to do was create a slimline card with the 12x12 paper pack. Those have become really popular of late. Now, I don't have slimline dies, so I'm just going to use 2 pieces of white copy paper just to get an idea of where I want to trim this paper down to. So here you can see I've cut one with the A2 size die, and then I went ahead and mirrored that same image with a slimline card, and I just trimmed that on my paper trimmer. I'm just going to add a simple sentiment, which is from one of the stamp sets, and that's going to finish off that card. For the slimline card, I'll pop up one of the ephemera sentiments. And I did the same technique with another one of the designs, and for this one I added some of the ephemera flowers to the middle of that wreath. Here are the finished cards, super quick and easy, and I absolutely love the slimline cards. Those were my favorite, again, because I love large florals. Moving on to the Celebrate Us layering set, I'm going to choose a few different pinks from different Altenew ink families here. I'm going to stamp the outline layer in Obsidian pigment ink. And I'm going to stamp it twice because I do want 2 of these to create my floral arrangement. I absolutely love it when the flowers and the leaves are already arranged and there's one die for both of them. It just makes things so easy. I stamped the first layer in pink pearl ink, and for the second layer I will stamp this. They're super easy to line up. I'm just conditioning the stamp by rubbing my palm over it. And this time I'm going to stamp this in baby pink, and that is from the Spring Bouquet family. Pink Pearl is from Tea Party. I stamped it twice to get more of a vibrant look. And then I was just checking the stamp packaging to make sure that I had my leaves aligned appropriately in the right place. And there's just one layer for the leaves. And so I'll go ahead and stamp those at the same time. I'm stamping these in frayed leaf. Then I decided I wanted to darken that second layer of the flowers up a little bit. So I'm coming in with coral berry. And I'm just gonna lighten up some of these edges. So I wanted a little bit more of a distressed look just to add a bit of shadowing to that layer. So I just lifted some of the ink with a baby wipe. If you had an ink dauber, you could use that as well, or a paper towel, any of those things would work. And then I'll stamp the centers with chamomile crisp dye ink. I'll use the coordinating die to die cut these with my Gemini Junior die cutting machine. I'll just tape it down with some purple tape. So here I have the brushed grid washi tape from Altenew, and I'm going to tear off a couple of pieces. I thought I was just going to do one layer, but ultimately I decided I wanted 2 layers to thicken up the tape and the background, and so I decided to offset the pattern so that there would be a little bit more black and white and that sketchy feel behind it. I do love the layered look of washi tapes. So I'll just go ahead and get that adhered to an A2 size piece of Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. So this is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel. Washi tape is essentially a low tack tape, so it does give you some wiggle room to reposition it if you need to. I'm going to just check my placement of the washi tape before I flip it over. I'll press the washi tape against the glass mat and fold it over so that I have a nice finished edge on the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to press that down for good adherence. And then I'm going to, before I go ahead and put my florals on, I want to add a little bit of splatter to the background with jet black ink spray. So anytime I add black splatter, I will use the Altenew jet black ink spray. I'll knock off the majority of the ink back into the bottle. I'm just going to cover up the washi tape because I don't think that the ink splatter would dry on the washi tape very well, and I don't want to risk smearing it on my project. So here I'm just going to tap the ink spray onto the panel, and I wanted a little bit on this white over here. Now ultimately, once I get the flowers adhered, I decided that I wanted some splatter on the flowers as well, so I do that separately. Here I'll add splatter to the flowers, and you do want to make sure that you clean your surface right away. This is highly pigmented spray, and so if you smear it, it will get everywhere, you guys. So you definitely want to clean your surface right away. I've used the sentiment die and cut the shadow out of vellum and the sentiment out of black 110-pound cardstock. I just used 1 layer, and then I'll stamp a sub-sentiment. I'm just going to use my fingers to curl up the edges of some of the petals and the leaves just to add a little bit more dimension. And I did pop up those flowers with some foam tape. And here's the finished card. I love the look of it with the washi tape border, and I think that the brush grid border matches the loose illustration of those flowers perfectly. So here we have the Celebrate Today stamp set, and I'm just going to use a selection of the Altenew artist markers to color these in kind of like a rough, sketchy way. I'm not going for super smooth blends. I'm going to leave some of the edges of the flower white to retain that sketchy feel and also to just keep things easy. I really wanted to have a video with easy cards to make, not anything too challenging. Coloring that was a little more approachable for people who are maybe not really into coloring. And I feel like using light markers and keeping some of the white and sketchiness helps to eliminate the need for perfect blends. So far I've used the red Cosmos markers in Frosty Pink and Coral Berry, and I'm just adding some very simple shadows just to the base of the petals and where some of the petals overlap. I'll blend out the shadows a little bit with Frosty Pink again, but also making sure that I keep some of those white highlights for that sketchy feel. Moving on to the smaller yellow flowers, I'll use Buttercream and Warm Sunshine, and these markers are from the Summer Afternoon Artist Marker family. And then to help some of the marker blend into white at the tips, I'm just using the colorless blender to soften those edges. I'll use frayed leaf on the leaves, and I'll die cut with the coordinating die. I'm going to use one of the 6x6 paper pieces for this background, and I just used a rectangle die to cut out a piece of that. I'm going to stamp a sentiment from the Celebrate Today stamp set, and I'll pop up this yellow piece and also pop up the flowers, the die cut flowers, And I love how this marker technique almost has like a watercolor feel to it. It's very similar to what they have going on with that same image on the pattern papers. So here's a quick run through of the cards. So we have the Slimline versus A2 cards, and then the layer stamp card and the marker color card. I hope you guys enjoyed these projects today. You'll have to let me know in the comments below whether you've created Slimline cards or other cards with 12 by 12 paper. I had so much fun creating with the Altenew and Pinkfresh release, and we have a blog hop going on. I have a link to my blog down below. Be sure to check it out so you don't miss any more inspiration along the hop. Leave comments along the blog hop for a chance to win a prize. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, liking, and ringing that bell so you don't miss any new inspiration. Here's a couple more videos for you before you leave, and I'll see you real soon.